Boom, we're back and we have another injured roll, and this time I am rolling with John, the white belt. He is actually the guy that injured my arm, so let's see how I do in this roll today. Just a quick explanation of how I hurt my shoulder and separated it. I had John in a one-arm bulldog choke. Yes, I was choking him, I was squeezing too hard, and all of a sudden is separated. Completely embarrassing, don't wish that on anybody, but unfortunately it happened to me. I don't really understand how squeezing too much for a choke was going to cause my shoulder to separate, but it happened. Now John puts me in a guillotine trying to do my own move against me. I am not going to allow that, and I'm actually going to skip ahead quite a bit because I sit here for quite a while. It's hard to defend a guillotine with only one hand, but you can see I'm leaning forward into him, and then I'm going to pick him up. Once I pick him up, he's going to open his guard, and as he does this, I'm going to take advantage of this, and I'm going to move right around the guard as fast as I can. Now, I can't move his hips because I don't have my left arm to help me, so I have to use my knees. My knees are constantly blocking his hips so I can move around, block his shrimping, and move into side control. The name of the game when you're injured is to flow roll, so I'm not looking to crush John in any position, especially because I'm also larger than him. He moves towards his front head, and then I walk around him, and I keep my hips in. This is called faux pressure. Faux meaning fake, it's not really there, but he feels like he's in danger. Now he's standing up with me, and we're going to do some one-arm wrestling. This is also terrible to watch, so I'm going to skip ahead quite a bit. One-arm wrestling is extremely boring. So once I'm in tight here, I have a Russian tie on him. He's eventually going to get close to me, and he's going to try and wrap up my leg. I accept that he wraps up my leg, and I vine around his ankle as well. I want to do jiu-jitsu, not one-arm wrestling, so I sit back and I see where he's going to go from here. He starts to work on top of me, and that's completely fine. I'm okay to have John on top of me because he's not necessarily a killer, but he's always willing to roll, so I appreciate that. Once he comes into my guard, I do try and do a one-arm guillotine, tough to do with my right hand. I'm more of a lefty when it comes to guillotines, so I establish a high guard. That means I bring my left leg over the shoulder, but John postures up and he's able to get his shoulder out of there. From here, I have to switch around, transition a little bit, and start doing some foot attacking. That means I'm just moving my feet around, trying to monitor where he is. I don't want him to give him any free attacks. Now I actually move into 7 guard. I scoot under his hip, and once I'm in 7, I immediately extend him. From the extension, I go right into single X guard, and just like before, I'm not going to heel hook a white belt, that's not allowed in our gym, so I use this sweep and hip rotation to come up. There's no reason I have to stay on bottom once I have such a nice attack. I may as well start working on top of John. Now again, I'm using a standing pass with some faux pressure. I'm not pressing too hard into him, but he constantly feels like he's in danger, so he decides to shrimp away. Now, from here we do some more one-arm wrestling, but fortunately for everybody, this one-arm wrestling is a lot more interesting because I stay very tight to him. As I'm staying tight to him, I use my right hand to grab an underhook. It's always a good idea to have an underhook. It's very easy to control your opponent's posture. But I do something sneaky. I keep my head on the inside and I switch this right hand, and I'm actually going to grab around the tricep because I have a special move. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to do a tricep sweep. I fall down, immediately sweep him over, keep the tricep once we land, and then from here I'm going into knee mount. This knee mount is not meant to crush John or apply too much pressure, but it is here so I can move around him and see what he has to offer me. Now his arms are completely extended. If you are rolling, you should not be looking to extend your arms on my chest. You don't want to get arm barred. Instead, you should try and keep them in so you can create some frames and start some shrimping. John does a nice job staying active on the bottom. He's switching sides and starting to move around. I try and high leg over looking for something, but instead he decides to shrimp out, and then he does a technical stand up. So once again, we're in this one-handed wrestling position. I immediately grab the neck. Just imagine if I had 2 hands. There could have been so many guillotines. I grab the tricep again and I do another tricep sweep. However, this time he posed, so I immediately let go, grab the head, and I spin behind. Just because it didn't work out perfectly doesn't mean I can't get a wonderful position from this. In fact, I'd say being behind him is even better. Now John turns into me, and as he does this, I block his hips. I use my right knee so he can't keep turning into me, but my head's on the wrong side and I'm always at danger of a guillotine, so I hop to the other side. I wasn't too worried about John's guillotine, but still, that's a good idea to have in your mind that you don't want to be on the wrong side, otherwise somebody may choke you, like me. Now my knees again are having to create all the pressure because I can't block his hip with my left hand. It's going to be easier for him to shrimp away if I can't use my hand. Once I get to the side control position, I'm moving around him and looking for an attack. It's hard to pick an attack when I only have one hand available, especially because I only like to do the guillotines. He's turning into me again here, and we see a really crucial moment by me. I do some foot fighting. So once he gets his leg extended, we can see I use my right foot to catch his shin. From here, I made sure that he couldn't lock on my legs and I can start to move into mount. I have to clear his legs, but once they're clear, it's an easy mount transition, and while it was a small detail, that foot fighting was very important. Now John should watch my mount escapes video because I'm not doing too much here. I'm very light and he still wasn't being able to get out of here. I flatten him out and then I bring my knee up. From here, he's looking to bring his hands in, but you don't want to extend your hands too far. I block his arm with my left leg, and I'm working around him looking for an attack. Mount is not my favorite position, but I'll still use it. I grab his arm, and once I have his arm, I feel pretty comfortable. I can start to sit on him and set up an arm bar. This is a great position for me, but he has a nice lock. Believe it or not, tough to break the lock with only one hand. I was trying to use my hips, but I was also running out of time. This brings us to the end of the video, however, so if you appreciate the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is the second video of the day, so I appreciate everybody that helps me out. Also, thank you all my patrons.